Hello everybody and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and today we've actually got some box office news to talk about because a brand new film, The Croods, A New Age, yes, a sequel to a film that I saw and it was fine, it was okay, not basically it came across to me as a straight to DVD, straight to Blu-ray type film, somehow got popular enough to merit a sequel, but it is doing incredibly well given the state of the pandemic during this Thanksgiving weekend. And I want to start off before going into this video any further that I hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving, and also to remind you that there will be no live stream tonight. I have family over, and so therefore no live stream tonight. Should pick up the regular live streams on beginning back on Tuesday. Also, if you have not done so already, please check out my second channel, the OMB Report, if you want to have more content focused more so on news and politics and current events. I have several videos up over there because there's obviously a lot more things going on when it comes to politics and news than with the movie industry, sadly enough. But with all that being said, please make sure you smash the like button and hit that subscribe. And of course, share this video with anyone that you think might find it interesting. So The Croods New Age seeing a $14 million plus domestic, $35 million worldwide during pandemic Thanksgiving stretch coming to us from Deadline. This is a Saturday AM update. This is what happens when a major studio spends a bit more money on P&A, so talking about advertising, than just a paltry single-digit sum to open a film in a world where not all movie theaters are open. Universal DreamWorks Animation, The Croods: A New Age, is on its way to grossing $14.2 million over 5 days at the domestic box office and $35.5 million worldwide through Sunday. I hear yesterday was close to $4 million for Croods 2, which shows a typical surge on Black Friday and the best daily gross for Croods 2 so far. Following Tenet, which made an estimated $10 million in its first domestic weekend. Warner's never broke that figure out. When significantly more theaters and markets were open, Croods 2 is posting the second best opening at the box office during the pandemic. And so it is pretty interesting, right, to have $14.2 million over 5 days versus the $10 million opening weekend, so not over 5 days for Tenet, still doing pretty well. And this makes a lot of sense, right? You have a lot of kids out of school, you have a lot of kids that are at home. Even many of these parents are probably like, I need to get these kids out of my house if my state is going to allow me to. If my state's going to actually allow me to have, basic liberties and freedoms, then, I'm going to go ahead, take advantage of that, bring them to the theater, wear the mask and social distance and all that stuff, and hopefully buy a popcorn and drink so I can keep the mask off while I'm eating and be able to actually enjoy the movie. But yeah, makes a lot of sense as to why this film then would be doing well, as animated films tend to do well, especially during the holiday time of year, this, of course, being Thanksgiving. That said, by all previous Thanksgiving box office standards, Croods 2 at 14+ million would be deemed a disaster. Yes, obviously, because no other years had the pandemic like this. The movie isn't part of Universal's new truncated window experiment with AMC, Cinemark, and Cineplex, whereby the sequel will premiere on PVOD by Christmas Day. So for those that don't remember, I reported about this a couple months ago, I guess at this point, where basically AMC originally worked out a deal with Universal to say if you release your movies, we'll allow you to release your movies in our theaters, and you only have to have a 2-week commitment before being allowed to put it on PVOD, meaning that it will still be in theaters after 2 weeks, but it'll also be available for you to rent at a higher price. That's why it's not just VOD, but PVOD, premium VOD, meaning that you pay basically a higher premium cost to get access to it earlier on. Of course, you can always wait a little bit longer, and then eventually the regular VOD prices will come out, video on demand prices will come out, and again, we'll be where we are. And it's interesting, though, Cinemark has, of course, also been a part of this deal. And the reason why Regal Cinemas is not mentioned is because pretty much every Regal Cinemas in the United States is closed. And that, of course, is terrible news for that industry. And it's still terrible news for the movie industry in general when the best movie you have is only making $14 million. A film that typically would probably make well north of $50 million, especially over Thanksgiving week, and probably even maybe even been a $100 million film since it is a huge animated feature. This is definitely sad in a lot of different ways. So anyway, diving further into it. While we already told you that CinemaScore was an A, again, CinemaScore does not really matter a whole lot because their system is very flawed and really hard to follow. And yeah, look at some of their CinemaScores. Some of them just don't make any damn sense. Let's see, for a DWA sequel, ComScore Screen Engines post-track also yielded good exit results with 83% in the top 2 boxes and a 59% definite recommend. And I like that system just a little bit better because it not only asks you you for what your opinion is and what your view of the film, your rating of the film, but also would you be willing to recommend it to other people, which I think kind of shows the bias that people have, because if you truly love a movie, then you're going to want to recommend it to people. So if this is saying 83% are people, 83% of people liked it, but only 59% of them would actually be willing to say, oh yeah, you should definitely check this out. I don't know, seems as though just a little bit of a disconnect there. Kids under 12 gave it respectively 92% with a 70% definite recommend. And of course, that is just, it's always funny to see that being mentioned because, kids always, when they see a movie of any kind, say, oh, this is the best thing ever. So that's actually kind of fun. I like that a lot. 41% were under 17, with women skewing at 54%, meaning families went. Well, here's the thing. If it's an animated movie, guess what? It means families went. If an animated film makes any money, I guarantee you it's not just a bunch of old men going to see a movie. I'm just putting that out there, though. Again, I'm just not even going to say anything about that. Over Friday to Sunday, Universal expects to make $9.7 million with $21.6 million from 7 offshore markets, $20 million of that from China alone, the evil China. And again, it's not going to get a whole lot of that $20 million since whenever you have a studio making a deal with China, China gets a lot of that money, which is the reason why I think, especially since everything we know, even more so now than even before, that all the atrocities going on in China, especially with their Muslim minority populations and how they're trying to essentially wipe them out from existence, something tells me we probably shouldn't be doing deals with them anymore. But hey, that's just my own humble opinion. What is interesting is that the $9.7 million is really not that far off from Tenet. Tenet having opened, as it mentioned earlier in the article, with a lot more screens, a lot more real estate to work with, a lot more formats as well. That is therefore very impressive for this film. It means it's making a lot of money per theater, which guess what? Means people are wanting to go out. They're wanting to go see movies, which makes a lot of sense because people have been cooped up now for so long. And when you have people coming out saying, oh, this is going to go on all the way up until maybe even next year or Q3 of next year, people don't want to deal with that. People don't want to have to put up with that. So $9.7 million, even though it's low in comparison to other Thanksgivings, as far as the weekend of Thanksgiving, is still pretty impressive nonetheless. I'm going to go ahead and skip the China news because screw China. All films in U.S., Canada, in those areas where theaters were open saw ticket upticks in their Thanksgiving to Black Friday numbers. So let's see. It says Croods, New Age, Freaky, War with Grandpa, Let Him Go, Come Play. And then this is just a Friday AM update. So that was what was reported as of yesterday. But anyway, yes, we have some box office numbers, but it is still a very sad state of affairs, which is the reason why you're going to probably start to see pretty soon, probably starting next week, some older videos of mine from my other second channel. I used to have a channel called Welcome to Asgard. And I would do a lot of random videos on there. I would do a lot of vlogs there. I did some movie reviews there at one point in time as well. So I've decided to, one, that's been rebranded as the OMB Report. So now that is for news and politics. But I still have access to all of those videos. And so what I plan to do is to start to re-release those videos, specifically the ones that are movie related, right? Movie, television related, especially those movie reviews onto the channel. So you'll see me with hair once again. You'll see me looking maybe a little younger, the beard being a little bit shorter, maybe even my background being completely different because I'm in a different house. But just be on the lookout for that. If you do notice and see those differences, it's because those will be older films, and I'll have it in the title and in the description. That way you know what's going on, so know that you're not going crazy. But anyway, do you plan to see the Croods in theaters? Croods 2, New Age? Let me know in the comment section below. Or do you planning to wait until it comes out in 2 weeks on PVOD? If so, let me know in the comments below. Or are you waiting for PVOD? Or are you like me, where you're like, I probably will never watch this movie? That's why, again, I've rebranded the channel as OMB Reviews because I want to review television, I want to review movies, I want to review box office, I want to review a lot of different things dealing with pop culture especially, and not necessarily doing everything movie related necessarily, especially when it's films that I just don't really want to see because I didn't like the first one and didn't really want to see this one either. But let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section below. If you like this video, smash that like button, hit that subscribe. It helps out a lot. Also, share this video as well. Seriously, sharing the video is indeed caring. Sharing is caring, as they say, and it really does help out a lot. You are all amazing and beautiful people. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my November Patreon and Subscribe Star members: Albertus Magnus, Animation Commentator, Brian P., David Bobrizik, Dion, Divex, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, Hail Father, Father Damian Cook, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan, Harold Francis, the Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, It's a Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jay, Jeffrey Toon, Jonathan Carney, Kenneth Camille, Laura Story ×2, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mike Jackson, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Outpost Dyer, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, or Miss Martin Muses, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bojan, and Tina B., the Empress of the Universe, and Garrett Searles. Thank you all for being my Patreon members, and a shout out, of course, to my Subscribe Star members, stand for John B., Perpetual Punster, Robert Revo, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, Darkstar57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, J. Rod the Beer Guru, Nabadan G. Adams, and ZK-Man, and Andrew Hoyle. And thank you to my Subscribe Star and Patreon members for supporting me for this month. I hope that you are enjoying your perks of getting access to things like a podcast, to giveaways, and also, of course, to other exclusive content. I know I've fallen a little bit behind with the birth of baby Thor, and so I thank you very much for your patience and, of course, for your continued support. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.